Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets Crypto, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 22nd of November. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay, interesting day yesterday. We did see a bit of a decline at the beginning, and then we saw a fairly strong move up. That leaves us with possible RSI 14 and RSI 5 sell signals brewing on the daily on Bitcoin. We've still got an RSI 14 sell signal fix. Yesterday morning's RSI 5 sell signal made target. And on the 15-minute chart, no obvious resistance trend line because there's nothing really to anchor it to unless it goes higher. But I am wondering whether we might see a decent retracement here, in which case the main thing I'm watching is going to be the rising support trend line, which I've currently got in about the 93,200 area. Looking at Solana, new all-time high now made on Solana, as the old one was at 259.95, and we've now gone over it. I was expecting that. I was talking to Matt yesterday, and I was saying I was thinking that it was going to go a little higher. And the reason for that was 6 RSI 14 sell signal fixed here as well, by the way, on the hourly chart. The reason for that was that I was expecting it to hit this trend line, which it's done, and gone through it very slightly. Now, this trend line isn't necessarily going to hold for that long, but at the moment, we've found it, gone up through it slightly, and we're forming what looks like it might be a head and shoulders here. Now, the thing to say is we are vulnerable to a decline here. No question about it. Daily sell signals brewing on Solana and Bitcoin. Ethereum's a bit of an afterthought. But on both of those, we've got 60-minute sell signals fixed on both of those. We reached some big targets on both of those. We're testing the 100K level on Bitcoin. We've just made a new all-time high on Solana. So I'm wondering about a retracement here, and it could potentially be a fairly deep one. Looking at Ethereum, Ethereum's almost made it up to the retest of the high, and I'm a bit reluctant to not see this make the full retest of the high. That's at 344,683, and we've made it up to 342,952. However, I would note that if we do see a big retracement here, we could be forming a flag. That would be A, B, and C. So that's not a bad setup to see a retracement there either. Looking at the hourly chart, we do have an hourly RSI 14 sell signal fixed here, so we've got now one fixed on all three of them. In terms of a trend line, we don't really, this has been too spiky a move really to deliver much for trend line, but let's just have, sorry, I just want to have a quick look at one thing. Do we have a possible flag channel set up here? Just wondering. No, not an obvious one. Do we have an obvious flag channel set up with an established anchor? Yeah, if we were to see it, I'd be leaning towards seeing a megaphone here with a move down into the 2950 area. We'll see how that goes, but again, we could be forming a head and shoulders here as well. I'm thinking that we've made some big targets. We've got a lot of negative divergence. We've got 60-minute RSI 14 sell signals fixed across the board. Now, it could be it's just going to go up through them, but we've seen some decent retracements here over the last few months, and I think this might just be another one of those starting. In which case, it's got some decent sell signals, and we could do a pretty good retracement. We've come up from 110 on Solana to 264. Might be time to see a bit of a retracement of that. We will see. All right, great. So obviously, this is kind of like, I'm not sure I would recommend shorting this at all during this bull move, but I think this might be setting up a nice buying opportunity. We will see. All right, great. If it goes up through them, do I use fib extensions? Sometimes yes, and if it does go up through them, I'll be coming up with some targets on that. But I haven't prepped those at the moment. But the question is, are we going to make a hard break up through 259.95? We've seen a break up through it, but it's just a poke at the moment. Are we going to see a hard break up through it? That actually sets up a whole new load of other targets. But we will see. It's but at the moment, we've just seen a break of that resistance. We've seen a bit of a pullback. We've got a load of negative divergence, and we will see how it goes. But yeah, I will look at potential higher targets over the weekend, and I'll have those ready on Monday. All right, great. Everyone have a great weekend. I'll have everything posted ASAP. And I will catch you guys on Monday.